Okay, let's get started. Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification every single time that I post a video, and I post every single Friday. As you can see on the title on today's video, I'm going to be giving you my full review with spoilers of the first part of the Fear Street trilogy, Fear Street Part 1 in 1994. Now, I did a reaction video to the trailer of the first one that came out. I know that they did one specifically for this one. I said that I wasn't going to be reviewing them by separately. I was going to be a whole review on them, but I gave myself a little more thoughts, and I thought that's going to be too long. Not going to be able to give as much details as possible. So here I am. I woke up at 5 in the morning to watch the movie. I just finished it. I'm about to head up to work, but first I am doing the review. So as always, my reviews with spoilers. If you don't want the spoilers, on the description box down below is my spoiler free review on my blog, as always, because I like to give you guys the options. So further ado, let's get started. The first one, this is teenage horror and its purest, and I loved it. Yeah, I'm going to start with that. I truly enjoyed the movie. It's teenage horror. If you like it, you're going to. If you're not, then this is probably not the movie for you. Although it's teenager horror, it does have blood, and on the special effects, it works pretty well. It doesn't really look that fake, or it's not even that cheesy as you could be expecting. They don't really go around many teenage drama, except from the fact that the protagonist of this one, at least, she just broke up with her girlfriend, that is Samantha, or well, she called her Sam, and she just moved from schools to another town. Now the movie takes place on the town of Shadyside, and the girlfriend Sam, she moved to Sunnyvale Valley, whatever you want to call it. And now Shadyside has always have this background history of murders and people going absolutely crazy and killing without an explanation. And Sunny Valley is where all the rich people and the good people live. So we could say it's on Riverdale, on the north and the south, that kind of thing. We could say it's just a small comparison. I'm not saying that they're equal. Now the movie, right at the beginning, it gave major Scream vibes, especially the intro Scream of 1996. If you have watched it, when you watch this one, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Now the movie starts with the character of Maya Ray Turman, that if you have watched Stranger Things, well, she's Robin, and she works at a mall, and her boyfriend works on another store. She works at the bookstore, and we could say it's like a sex shop, if you want to call it. Yeah, probably that's the right name for it. Now they're already closed, no one is on the mall, but right from the beginning they kind of want to set the tone for something else is in there. They're not completely alone, that type of thing. They eventually, obviously, they start to get chased by this mysterious killer with a mask. She starts running, and she escapes from her bookstore, and she gets to the store of her boyfriend. And the killer is there. He has this, so we could say it's a robe with the skeleton chest here and a skull mask. So it's a full skeleton costume. And the killer gets onto the store, he starts chasing her again. She starts running, and when you think that she's about to get through, he stops her. It looked pretty similar to Scream right at the beginning of Casey Becker death, a little bit like that. But when she takes the mask off, it's her boyfriend. But he gets shot by the police because she was able to call the police on the store of him before she was killed. And right at the beginning, that's it. Then the movie kind of shows some initial credits. I am 100% sure that these credits, they do have a lot of foreshadowing, and they kind of tell you what is going to happen, because it happens a lot when a horror movie specifically shows the type of credits and scenes and facts and things from the plot and everything. It's because it has some hiding things on there. But for that, I will need to rewatch the movie. I don't have time for that now. But probably when I talk about on 1978 review that it's next week that the movie comes out, I'm going to be able to tell you what was this and this and that. So the movie goes forward, and we have the protagonist that broke up with the girlfriend Sam, and she's heartbroken, but she's part of the band, and they have this football game on Sunny Valley, so they need to go there. And the ex-girlfriend is a cheerleader, so obviously they see each other. And when they are on Sunny Valley, where, like I said, wherever you want to say it, they're having like this moment of respect for what happened on Shady Side. But the guy, his name is Peter from Sunny Valley, he, besides the fact that he's kind of the new boyfriend of Sam, and we have the protagonist that it's furious, he also starts to say mean comments about everything that happened, and they start on a fight. And eventually the group leaves, and we have the whole cheerleader teams and the band together on the school bus, and also like the football team. And when we have Peter and Sam and another guy on a car behind them, and they all wearing the mask. Well, she's not, but they're wearing the skull mask just like the killer. And they started like playing around. They start throwing bottles to the bus. So the protagonist, she takes the cooler that is on the last, like on the last seat of the bus, and she's about to throw it, but it slips because her nose, she starts like bloody, like blood running to her nose. So she kind of like do this, and she kind of slips the cooler, so it hits the car. They have an accident. Now when Sam gets out, we could say this already on Shady Side that they don't specifically show which is the limit of the city of the towns, but we can assume that because when she gets out of the car and she puts her hands on the ground, she kind of feels something, and she has blood, and she's kind of do this, and then she puts her hand once again on the floor, and she has visions of a witch. Now the whole movie goes around the fact that on Shady Side, on 6066, that it's the title of the third movie, that a witch called Sarah Fire, she was we could say hanged, and she kind of cursed the whole Shady Side town. She cut her hand, and they even have like this rhyme and saying legend about her. And we have the brother of the protagonist. He is kind of the nerdy guy, and he investigates, and he has a lot of knowledge of the murders that have occurred over the years on Shady Side. Now we have the whole group that are like the best friends of the protagonist, the ex-girlfriend Sam, and the protagonist brother. Now Sam gets to the hospital, they get to visit her, and the killer strikes again. He kills everyone that it's... Now here's the kicker. Somebody else is wearing the same skull mask with the costume, but they already killed the killer right at the beginning. So we have another person that is the killer, and the person gets to the hospital because he's trying to kill Sam. They stole an ambulance. I don't know how the hell they get away with that without the police like doing something about it, but it's a movie. So, and as they start to investigate, this is when they realize that everything it's about the witch. They mention the events that occur on what is going to be Free Street Part 2 in 1978, that is on a summer camp. They talk about that, so we see instantly the connection between the three movies. Now the whole movie passed on 1994, so it's not like we're going back and forth on time, which is something that could have happened, but it's not what is going to happen here. So basically they start investigating, and they realize that because Sam touched the bones of the witch, like she literally stepped on on where she was buried, and the whole bones are there, she touched it with her blood. Now the witch is looking for her, and she's sending the older killers, all the ones already dead, she sent them to kill Sam because she wants to kill. Yeah, just because. It's not really a deeper reason of why she kills. Probably we're going to be more deeper on her reasons on the third one, that it's more focused on her and on the time where she was killed. So we'll have to wait a little bit from that. So they start investigating, and they realize that Sam is going to be like the main target, so they need to do something about it. So they try to bring the three killers that they're searching from them. That it's the skull guy, and it's another one and one girl from the 60s that was also a killer. So we have three killers behind this. There's behind the group, so they kind of made them go to the school. They put on all the blood of Sam, so they create like the yellow road from Dorothy, or with the blood, a blood road. And the three killers get to the bathroom, that it's like where they want them to go. They explode them, but they don't kill them. It's not enough. And they realize that she needs to die. The protagonist's brother, he has some like newspapers and many news of the older cases. So in one of them it says that one girl from 1978 summer camp survived, that she died but she was brought back to life. So this is when they realize that they need to like kill Sam or bring her back in order to everything to stop. And that's what they do. They made her take a lot of pills. The protagonist's best friend, she sells pills and drugs on their side because she wants to take extra money so that she can get away of the town. And so she has a lot of knowledge on this. They get all the pills that they need. She starts taking them. And while they're trying to kill her, the killer appears. He kills the best friend and the guy best friend. They both die. I was expecting from them to not. I really like them, the characters. So, but eventually Sam dies. And the protagonist, she went crazy because they're going to use an EpiPen to make her go, like to return, but it's not working. But eventually she comes back. Now everything kind of looks like everything is settled, nothing is wrong, everything is over now. Once they found out that someone was alive, they tried to call her by just giant books that they used to use on the 90s, where you have all the numbers of everyone, but she didn't respond, so they never contact her. And everything like it's okay, and Sam and the protagonist are on the house, like laying on bed, trying to like make everything work. They talk about the breakup, but why they break up, and it was basically because they're lesbians, and she's kind of well, the protagonist accused Sam of being ashamed, but also the fact that she moved. It's a whole teenage drama, but basically they're trying to make things work out again. And when the phone rings and the protagonist, she picks it up, it's the girl that survived. And she's like telling her, no, everything's over. And the survivor tells her, no, it's never over. And this is when the protagonist turns over and it's Sam with a knife, and she stabs her. And she lays to the floor, and we have the brother of the protagonist like on his computer, and the protagonist is like putting her hand on his shoulder. And she kind of ties Sam with the string of the phone, and she's like there, like rolling on the floor. She went crazy, she went nuts, and it's because of the witch. Basically, the witch we could say that possessed her. So now she's a killer, and the whole movie basically ends there with them trying to help Sam with this and trying to figure out what they're going to do. And they finally meet the survivor. Now, once the movie like ends and says to be continued, leave it there. Don't pause it or leave, because it gives like a 30-second trailer of 1978 First Street, and it screams slasher everywhere. Like you can see how everything like changes and how it looks so much slasher and no teenage horror. Like they did the switch pretty well on the subgenres. So of course I am hell excited for this one. And slasher is one of my favorite subgenres. Now I guess I give First Street out of 10 an 8. It's not an excellent movie, but I really enjoyed it. The flaws are really little, but like I said, I'm not going to give it a 10 or a 9 because I think that would be too much. So I will give it an 8 and 3.5 out of 5. And that's basically my whole opinion on it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have already watched it. If you're not, totally worth it. Trust me, it's totally worth it to watch it. And I'm going to see you guys on my next video. Bye.